welcome to the Queen City Soccer Show. I'm Level Up Luke, and I have another entry in my Charlotte FC media series. And today I will be introducing you to Danielle Stein. She is the new sports anchor for WCNC in Charlotte. She's hit the ground running with a lot of tremendous Charlotte FC coverage. She's young, exciting, and ready to get on the soccer beat. She comes to us from the Orlando market. Now, before we continue, you can do us a huge favor by liking, subscribing, leaving us a review on Apple or Spotify. It would be much appreciated. That helps us bring you the great content that you know and love. You can find us on socials on Twitter at QCSPod, Instagram at QCSPod_. YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, all the other places at QCS Pod. I am Level Up Luke. I host a post-game Twitter Spaces, so you can find that on my personal page at LVLUP_Luke. My partner is Cole Godfrey. He will be back for our weekly episodes. You can find him at Cole_Godfrey. Without any further delay, let's get started. All right. Hey, Danielle, this is Level Up Luke from the Queen City Soccer Show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you. I was going to say a warm welcome, but the snow is probably a little bit unexpected for an arrival in Charlotte, so maybe not so much warm.
I think you brought it with you, coming
Yeah.
from Maryland, originally here. And yeah, it was the first time we've had snow in, I think, over 3 years. So that was
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was the Boston and me bringing that to you guys.
There you go. Well, I'm from upstate New York originally, so I can tell you it's normally one-way traffic with folks moving down from the Northeast. They never want to leave.
We will see. So far, it's been great. So,
Awesome. Well, hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? You're the new sports anchor for WCNC. Can you
yeah.
tell us a little bit about that position and your background?
Yeah, sure. So I just started the first week of January. I'm super excited to be working in Charlotte. It's such an awesome sports market. I came from working in Orlando most recently, so got to do a lot of MLS and NWSL coverage there, as well as NBA. So definitely really excited to continue to cover both pro soccer and basketball in Charlotte, as well as adding the NFL to that is really cool as well. So yeah, I was working in Orlando for the last 2 years. Got to do a lot of amazing things there. Before that, I was working in Charlottesville, Virginia for a couple years there. Loved it as a great smaller market, but doing a lot of University of Virginia sports coverage there. That was all throughout the pandemic. But originally, I am from Boston. Like I mentioned, that's definitely where the sports fandom came from in me. So I still am that big New England sports fan. I will say it hasn't slipped away. So all things New England sports, that's me. And from just a young age, I just always loved sports, but I also loved performing and doing some singing and theater, things like that. So I figured going into sports TV would be a really good path for me, just to kind of combine, presentation and public speaking as well as a passion for sports. So I took that and went to the University of Maryland, had a great time there as well. So I've been kind of all up and down the East Coast at this point, from Boston to Maryland, Virginia to Florida, and here we are now in Charlotte.
That's fantastic. All over ACC country, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, big time. So, well, actually, when I was in Maryland, it was one of the first years they had just changed into Big Ten. So, I missed the ACC days of Maryland, unfortunately, but I got to see a lot of the rivalries when I was at Virginia. Getting to see a lot of UNC and Duke against Virginia battling all the time. Got to see men's soccer go to the College Cup, got to see
Yeah.
women's soccer also excel. So really, really great soccer actually in Charlottesville at UVA, which definitely was part of a big part of my job when I was working there as well.
Well, that just shows the generation gap here. As a millennial, I still, even to this day, just in my head, don't recognize that Maryland is a Big Ten
I
team.
know. It feels weird. I know, especially when you look at a football schedule and you see Maryland on there, you're like, I don't really know if they belong so much against these teams like Penn State or Ohio State, but they hold their own in some sports. Lacrosse, they're dominant. They're pretty good at basketball consistently too. So it's been a lot of fun to watch Maryland over the years as well.
Yeah, I'm from Syracuse originally, so I still have that sports fandom, and I had to adjust to them going to the ACC, and
Yeah.
it's crazy now. But yeah, great soccer action. Syracuse won it a few years ago, and
Yeah,
like you said, UVA has a great history with soccer.
definitely.
Um, so that's fantastic. As far as soccer, I know the podcasting is a visual medium usually, but for the folks listening at home, she has an awesome shirt on that says "All my homies love Charlotte soccer."
Shout
In
out
the
Glory Days Apparel because I walked in there and saw this. I was like, I need to buy that shirt. They also have it in Spanish. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's tough, but I got the English one to start.
yeah, there you go. Shout out to Glory Days. I wanted to give a little plug there because every time we see cool merch,
It's
Willie
always them.
P, yeah, Willie P just posted the other day a t-shirt, custom t-shirt he had made with a Tom Bogert tweet
I
that
saw
said,
that.
"It's Wilfred Zaha, dude." And that's like every time I see cool merch, I always want to plug it because I just want to buy all of it.
Yeah, that
Um,
was tough. That was really cool when he shared that. And Bogart obviously like gave it the repost and was like, this is sick. So
yeah, friend of the pod, Tom Bogert. We're gonna try to
yeah,
get him back on here soon.
very, very
Talk about
cool.
all the moves, but you came at a very interesting time. Speaking of the moves and the transactions here, Charlotte just signed Zaha, massive signing. Tell me a little bit about your introduction here to Charlotte soccer, Charlotte FC. What has that been like, and what have you learned so far? What are you excited for with the new season coming up?
Yeah. So like I was just saying before, I was working in Orlando, so a lot of Orlando City. So I know that's not the most welcome team in this area right now, just how things ended last season, but definitely had a lot of familiarity just kind of adjacently covering Charlotte, just through covering Orlando City, especially in that final series for Charlotte FC. I don't know who's a bigger acquisition in Charlotte between me and Zaha. I'm just kidding, but no, it's really exciting times. I mean, one of my first assignments was going out to training. It was that first day of training. Just always the good vibes when you see Dean walking out with the big smile. All the guys are
Yeah,
happy and excited. Still no Tim and still no Patrick because they were over at the camp still at the time. So didn't get to see them just yet, but first impressions have been super positive. I loved covering MLS in Orlando, so I'm really looking forward to covering it again here in Charlotte. I've heard that game day atmospheres are just phenomenal and can't be beat. So no, it should be great. And having a big name like Zaha coming is going to be so cool too. Everyone who I've been talking to the past couple weeks is, just confirming how awesome this is going to be. And watching the highlights over and over as we've been running them on the newscast daily and talking to Will, like you had mentioned him just a minute ago about, the implications and hearing someone like Tom Bogert saying like, this is the biggest offseason acquisition in MLS this year. It's just a cool thing to be a part of and to get to see really close up.
yeah. I mean, breaking news today: Atlanta signed Miguel Almiron,
Yep.
back, returning to Atlanta, and Charlotte FC, in one of these weird MLS quirks, ends up getting $400,000 in GAM in exchange for the
The
discovery
rights.
rights for a
Yeah.
player that Atlanta had already won a championship with a few
Yep.
years ago. Um, Gotta love MLS and
That's
the
like
the
taking
crazy
candy from a
moves.
baby at that point. That's free money.
Free money, and we didn't pay anything that I'm aware of to sign Zaha. So we
No.
absolutely come out on top on that transaction as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's going to be a huge one. March 1st against Atlanta United,
Yeah.
and they just signed Miggy. We signed Zaha. It's going to be that battle. There are Southern Derby rivals. We just won the Southern championship belt last year between Atlanta, Nashville, and Charlotte. Um, Actually, I think Orlando might be included in that as well. But
Mm.
Yeah, we brought the belt home this year, and so we're going to look to defend our title with the Southern teams here. And
Yeah.
so you came at a good time. It's very exciting. Have you heard about the tailgates yet?
No, no, tell me more. I love a tailgate.
Okay, so my personal opinion is that Charlotte FC has the best game day experience in Major League Soccer. The only asterisk I would put on there is maybe after LAFC, because I've heard theirs is absolutely insane.
Okay.
But, outside of LAFC, which, they have all the money and all the superstars and stuff. But outside of that, I think Charlotte FC has by far the best game day. It starts early. You got to show up a few hours, probably 4 or 5 hours before the game to get started. We have an entire supporters tailgate lot, which is kind of like a college football tailgate scene. Lots of different supporters groups making their own food, serving drinks. There's, you know, bouncy houses for the kids and activities and all kinds of promo stuff. But it's not just that one supporters lot, it's all around uptown Charlotte,
That's
all the
awesome.
bars. I mean, it's crazy. It's just thousands of people out in the streets having a great time. You got to check out I call it the alleyway, across from Romare Bearden Park in uptown Charlotte. There's probably 7 or 8 bars all in this little alleyway, and that place is flooded with soccer supporters.
Oh, that's
The
awesome.
home fans, away fans. It's a very welcoming environment for away fans. We always love to see people come here. We want to give them some Southern hospitality. Grab a slice of pizza, have a few drinks. One of the bars there is like the soccer supporters bar where they watch EPL games on Saturday mornings.
Sure.
So the soccer culture here is fantastic. You're going to love it. And then, as far as the media access, you can get in a few hours before game time too and scope out Bank of America Stadium. That's going to be great ahead of the opening game when it's full 70,000 plus fans. The place is going to be rocking. So it's good to get a moment of, solitude before the game and just check it out while it's empty and then just watch it
Yeah.
fill to capacity.
No, I might
It's a
have
magical
to
experience.
sneak away after one of my live shots this season and make my way to one of those tailgates. That sounds like a lot of
Yeah,
fun. But no, it's cool. It's really cool to see, different cities and areas across the country really embracing soccer as this professional sport in the States, where the fan bases are growing. People are coming out and tailgating. People are coming out in droves by, tens of thousands of people coming out there to a game or whatever the numbers may be. Like, I know that Charlotte FC has some great attendance at their matches as well. So that's just kind of a testament to see how the sport's growing. And it's really cool to see it in a city like Charlotte, where it's still brand new at the professional level, but it's being so embraced so early on too.
absolutely. Now we do have a few other local soccer teams here.
Yes, we
Um,
do.
So the Carolina Ascent are currently on their winter break between the fall season and the spring season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to pick back up here soon. Are you guys doing any coverage of the Carolina Ascent, Charlotte Independence, Crown Legacy, Carolina Core? That might be a little bit outside
Yeah,
the
yeah.
area.
So I already went out to training for Carolina Ascent, talked to Pool, just kind of a little bit about, what are your thoughts on this format, because it's new, basically just to do this half fall and then a little break and then the rest of your season in the spring. So I was just curious from his perspective, like, have you been seeing it to be advantageous at this point that, these players are coming back still fit because they just took essentially 2 weeks off between seasons, but also it's like, okay, we're towards the top of the table in the league, but we also just finished on 3 straight losses. Like, do you carry that momentum over, or because it's kind of a brand new slate, are you kind of leaning into that? Like, what's the perspective there? So I think it's a pretty interesting league. Like I was saying, I was covering Orlando Pride a lot. They just won the NWSL this past fall as well. So I'm all about women's sports, love women's soccer as well. So I will definitely be there. I told him that I will definitely be at their matches, and any stories, any coverage, like, I'll be their girl. So um,
Fantastic.
yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, and can't wait to for you to experience the soccer tournament, which we have in Cary, North Carolina, right up the road in June, early June. They have a men's bracket and a women's bracket. Each side, the winning team wins $1 million, winner take all, 7v7 tournament. So that is a blast. If you love women's soccer, I highly recommend
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I've been
Um,
to Cary a couple times for some soccer. I covered UVA women's soccer in the ACCs there. I covered UVA men's soccer in the ACCs there. So I have been to Cary quite a few times
yep,
and seen the highs and the lows there, just based on the teams I was covering at the time. So no, that all sounds awesome.
fantastic. Well, let's help the folks get to know you a little bit. I have kind of a speed round, some questions,
Cool.
about your hobbies and interests here.
Yeah,
So
let's do it.
let me ask you, favorite movie. If you could pick one movie that you could watch for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Anchorman, easy. I've been obsessed with. I know it's so silly and cliche to say as someone who works in local news, but I had just like I love Will Ferrell. I love Steve Carell. That movie just cracks me up all the time. I am like only comedy when I'm watching movies. I don't do serious. I don't do horror. I'm like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I want to laugh, and no one makes me laugh like Will Ferrell.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a good pick. I gotta say, golden age of comedy might be the
Yeah,
2000s for comedy
yeah,
movies, and Anchorman
classic
is right there at the top.
for sure.
Very good. Go to karaoke song.
Oh gosh. I did mention I like have sang throughout my life. I did college a cappella and stuff like that. So sometimes it's like you don't want to be that person who's being too serious at karaoke. I will say I say recently because I actually just went a couple weeks ago for a birthday party. When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars was a good one.
Ooh,
But that's like if you're trying to like slow things down a little bit. Anything Rihanna also calls my name. So
understandable.
yeah,
Rihanna, one of the goats.
one of the goats for
Um,
sure. My goat.
okay, if you had to pick one Rihanna song that you could pick for karaoke, let's say you're out with friends, it's a good time.
Probably Umbrella, just like to get the crowd going. Everyone loves Umbrella. So
Sure.
yeah,
Good
that's what we'll
pick.
go
Good
with.
pick.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite food from back home. It can be a New England specialty, or obviously Maryland has a lot of that mid-Atlantic. What are you going with?
Yeah.
Favorite food?
I mean, if we're talking regional food, a hot buttered lobster roll is
Mm,
unmatched. And I know that's the Connecticut style when it's hot buttered rather than cold mayo, but it's just so much better. I would get that any day I could.
good pick. Good pick. We have a food truck here in Charlotte, that does lobster rolls. That's very solid.
All right, sign
Very
me
solid.
up. I'm there.
Well, I think that just about does it for the speed round. And I value your time here, so I want to get you out of here for the rest of the afternoon. But why don't you tell the folks where they can find you and where they can find your sports coverage?
Sure. Yeah. So I work for WCNC. That's the local NBC affiliate here in Charlotte. Me and Nick Carboni are killing the game in terms of sports coverage and all things Charlotte and Carolina sports coverage. So you can check us out on Channel 6, or you could go to our website, WCNC.com. We're on Twitter as well. I'm on Twitter. It's Danielle underscore Stein 9. Not only because it rhymes with Stein, but when I was younger, I used to want to be like Mia Hamm when I was playing
Okay.
soccer. So that was my number always growing up, and it's just kind of stuck as well. So that's another little soccer aside there too.
That's fantastic. I mean, you might be a little too young for it, but there used to be a campaign. I want to say Gatorade back in the day. It was like anything you can do, I can do better. And it was Mia Hamm and Michael Jordan.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was the best. But
Yeah.
hey, thank you so much, Danielle. I appreciate it. Welcome to the cult of Sir Minty. We're happy to have you, and look forward to having you back on the podcast again soon.
Yeah, looking forward to match day one, and looking forward to meeting everyone out there soon.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you out there on the pitch.
Appreciate it. Thanks.